What up, Freediving fans? Jonathan and Eric here with you today, and we've got Tommy with us, and we are going to discuss what it is to have the best freediving fin in the market.
Oh man, you're just going to throw it out there like
Just
that.
going to throw it out there.
Okay.
The Alchemy.
The Grecian god of fins.
We've done a couple fin reviews in the past, and we, have kind of covered a lot of the different types of fins that are out there. I know we've all three kicked the Alchemy's, the V3, and I personally, it's one of my go-to fins. I absolutely love them. I know you've been kicking them for a little while too, right?
A year and a half.
A year and a half, Eric?
I've had a decent amount of experience with them.
Nice.
I just switched this weekend.
Oh, okay. To a different fin.
To a different fin.
Okay. Well,
Trying
we
it out.
won't hold that against
Trying
you.
it out.
Yeah, exactly. So one of the things that I want to make sure that we point out with the Alchemy V3 is, for one, it's got a ton of different options in color, right? As you can see here on the counter. But
These aren't even all of them.
and these aren't even all of them, right? Just what would fit on the table. But one of the biggest uses for these fins are, in my opinion, more freediving focused, right? So you can absolutely spearfish with these. I've shot quite a few fish with the Alchemy blades,
yeah.
but they're more so of a freediver focused fin. Whereas like the Moana video we just recently put up is more of a spearfishing focused fin.
That's why I switched.
And that's why you switched.
Because of your video.
Okay. So Eric, can you tell us a little bit about the specs on our Alchemies?
Sure. So just to kind of initially touch on what you were just saying about it being more of a freediving fin. In my opinion, what makes it more of a freediving fin than a spearfishing fin is the fact that it is more of a mid-flex blade. So Alchemy, they've got a name for it for the tip. I don't remember what their name for it is. But what we're talking about here is you can see that fin has a lot of flex through the center of the blade rather than a progressive taper from the back to the tip where you have a real soft tip on here. You can actually see the tips on these are pretty stiff.
They're pretty stiff
compared to the middle. Now what that does is gives you a much bigger bend in the blade when you're kicking them. It allows you to bend the blade itself a little bit easier. So you're going to get a little bit more performance out of the blade itself as far as efficiency goes. Now, where that doesn't give you an advantage for spearfishing is in a tip flex blade where you have more stiffness in the back and less in the front. The harder you kick them, the more power you get out of them, generally, depending on the stiffness and that kind of thing. So these, you're not going to have that backbone to kick into when you need it, but you have a ton of efficiency, which is what makes it a great line diving fin.
Just cutting in really quick. For me, and I don't know all the technical stuff, I just know how they felt for me and how they performed. But one of the things that I loved a year and a half kicking these fins, for me at least, is I tend to pigeon toe quite a bit when I kick. And so my fins will kind of roll in. And these tend to have a little bit more, and I don't know if this is true, but it feels like it for me, more like rotational bend too. So it's more forgiving if you're a pigeon toe. Where now that I'm kicking another fin, can I say it?
Yeah.
Moana, I'm kicking the Moana now. I definitely feel that it's not as forgiving in that regard. And
You feel like the spillage of the water.
yeah, so I really have to focus on like my big toe and keeping that strong. Where these, like you'll see, the video, that clip that I sent you, like I just kick these all over the place and they work fine.
They work great, yeah. So we get asked a lot in the shop, especially when these are hanging on the wall and guys or girls who just aren't super familiar, is
What kind of skateboard is this?
how do I use this? Like, how does this attach to my foot?
Duct tape.
Yeah, zip ties and duct tape. So obviously we're going to be putting a what's called a foot pocket, which is actually going to be something like this. So it's going to have the foot pocket itself, and then what we call like these rails or tendons. So this will actually press onto there, and then you can either screw or drill them to attach to the blade. But as you guys both were mentioning, as far as the flex is concerned, talk a little bit, Tommy, about the difference that you felt between two different types of pockets.
Yeah, again, more just in the field experience. I don't know the technical terms or anything like that. But what foot pocket you kick on these is definitely going to determine how it performs. And I know that you were saying that before when I was kicking the Stingray, it definitely takes a lot of what the Alchemy gives in that mid flex. But I had the Stingrays on there, and it felt more like it did have that tip flex, and I didn't know what that was until I switched to the Pathos pockets, which really give the full flex of this blade. And I think I was complaining at first, saying it was too soft.
Right.
I definitely learned how to use them, and in fact, I was able to dive deeper with the Pathos. Just ironically,
because you were using the full length of the blade,
right,
which is what this blade is designed for. So kind of just to tie that into the technical side, what Tommy's talking about is the rails, the tendons of his foot pockets of the Stingrays
these guys
are a little bit, so this part right here.
Much stiffer.
So yeah, on the Stingray, it's a stiffer pocket. On the Pathos, it's a softer pocket.
Not down there.
Not down there. So being able to choose which pocket is going to drastically change the way that a blade flexes. So if you can imagine, if you put a hard piece of rubber on this part of the fin, it's going to be harder to bend than if there's nothing on it. Well, it bends really easily, right? So just being able to know what you're using these fins for will absolutely help you to pick your pocket. Now, that being said, I highly recommend not going straight for the only performance, right? You need to focus on fit first and foremost. Sure. I think that we all have come across the idea that we need the foot pockets to fit you well before they perform well. Now, obviously, if you pick the best performing pocket out there, but you get blisters and they don't fit your feet, well, you're not going to want to wear them, right?
And it's different for everybody. Like
absolutely.
I know I raved when I used your Pathos pockets for the first time, and then like Kevin used them and hated them.
Right.
So it's going to be unique for each person. I also want to backtrack a second, because I know you guys sort of mentioned in the beginning that this is a freediving fin, not so much spearfishing. But I don't want people to be put off thinking like, oh, I'm a spearfisherman, I can't use these. I think every time I go out on the boat, almost 75% of the boat, seasoned spearfishermen.
Right.
I'm talking amazing spearfishermen.
Right.
A lot of them are kicking these fins. So
yeah.
So don't think oh no, he just said it's only a freediving fin. I'm a spearfisherman, can't kick Alchemies. In fact, I don't know that I'm going to go back or not. I haven't had enough time in the other ones, but I absolutely love these for spearfishing.
For sure. And I've done the same thing. I've kicked the Alchemies for almost probably 2 years now, and all spearfishing. Right? I mean, I'm teaching them as well, but
what I'll say in regards to that is, if you understand how to use the fin properly, it's going to work for whatever situation you want to put it in. What's hard with these is they're not as forgiving as a tip flex blade would generally be, right? So you have to focus on kicking these properly to get the maximum efficiency out of them and to feel like you're actually using the fins well. If you're kicking an extra, maybe not extra soft, but a soft Alchemy with a real soft foot pocket, and it's going to be an amazingly efficient setup, but
you can overkick the fin.
Yeah, if you try to dive bomb to 60 feet and then swim up with a 100-pound grouper, you're gonna know that you've got a soft fin on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially if you're a bigger person too. I feel that the guys that are successful with these, Kevin just started kicking these and he seems to be enjoying them. He probably weighs 20, 30 pounds less than I do. So if we're kicking the same blade and it's super soft, like you're saying, and now you're trying to pull a 40-pound fish up with you, it's going to take a lot more work for me versus him.
So what I've noticed when I have shot a little bit bigger fish and I was using the Alchemies, and I'm a soft fin guy. I love super soft fins, right?
Butter blades,
especially for the size that I am. Normally, guys that are my size, that are bigger like I am, will use
extra hard,
a stiffer blade. So I tend to go the opposite of most people. I go super soft. What I have noticed is I have to trust the fin, right? So when I'm doing my kicks, I can't just think that I have to speed up or put more strength into the kick. I gotta let the fin do the job that it was designed to do, right? So having that consistency in my kick, right? That nice wide stride, powerful wide stride when I'm pulling something off the bottom, I have to trust that the fin's gonna do the job. It may take me 3 or 4 kicks to start my movement, right? To actually get going if I'm at a deep depth with a big fish. But it will work and it will start propelling me forward. So trusting the blade is a huge thing. You don't just freak out and start kicking like a madman to try to overpower the fin.
That's your next video, comparison video.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So Eric, one last little tech tip on the carbon fiber of these guys.
Yes. So the Alchemy blades themselves, extremely high quality manufacturing process. Their attention to detail on these blades is second to none. Honestly, their manufacturing process is incredibly thorough.
They actually, I think, have a video that like shows you that manufacturing process. I think we're gonna put a link in the
What
description.
did you say on the podcast? Like unilateral or like some fancy carbon
so
layup or something?
Same, just like the Milana blades.
Okay.
This carbon that you see on the outside is a aesthetic layer with unidirectional carbon fiber on the inside. So just to brief on what that means, basically underneath this checkerboard pattern on here, all the fiber is going in the length of the blade itself, which is actually why you get a little bit more twist on these. Is because most of the fiber is giving you
going straight
strength in the lateral direction.
So what no one likes to do, but I'm always willing to do, is it makes these guys super crazy strong, no matter which way you fold them.
If you can't fold them.
Jeez. So yeah, nobody likes to do this, but I'm willing to do it because I'm.
And that's the beauty of modern composites.
Yeah.
One thing I always tell people is, whether it's fiberglass or carbon fiber, it's only as good as the manufacturing process.
Absolutely.
And the product and the base products that they're using. There's some fiberglass blades out there that are noticeably better than some carbons because their manufacturing process is so good. And the Alchemies are probably one of the best as far as manufacturing goes.
Yeah, for sure.
We are excited to bring you a video about the Alchemy blades. It's been a long time coming. Also, thank you for watching all of our other videos and checking out those products and even buying a lot of those products. We've seen a lot of traction from that. So we really appreciate our customers, and we love our customers, best customers in the world.
That's right.
If you haven't watched them, go back and watch them. There's a bunch of them.
Yep,
for sure.
Don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe to this video, guys. It's free. Helps out the channel. Helps out these guys.
Nice. And then you've also got a YouTube channel.
See you in the next video,
well, right?
It's there. Yeah,
Okay.
Tommy Overboard.
Okay, we'll put a link in that one down as well.
Shameless plug.
Sounds good, guys. Yeah. We will see you in the next one.
Ciao.
Is that your new outro?
Thank you so much for watching our video, guys. If you guys did find good value in this content, please make sure you subscribe and check out our other videos, especially this one right here. It's one of my favorites.